Audible? Am I audible to everyone? The last line, people. Yes. So, where should I start? Actually, I didn't prepare anything because to tell my story, why should I prepare? And I want, as the brand name is Raw Stories, I want it to be the rawest. That's why I'll start from the scratch, from the basic. So, I was born in a typical banaya family. My father is into agriculture related business, rice mills, godowns and all. So myself and my younger brother, in the schooling days, my younger brother used to study well than me. So my father, in childhood only, he decided that my younger brother will go study BTech, he will go to MS, he will go to US and all, and I will join the family business. He decided that as he studies better than me, the marks. Example, if the assignment test is for 25 marks, we both together used to get 25 marks together. Like if I get, okay, why to go into numbers? So, but I didn't have any problem whenever he said that, ye dhanda karega, ye dhanda karega. But I decided, I was always having a question mark, what business to do. Because I had a goal that whichever business I do, by the time I leave this planet Earth, by the time I die, I have to be in the top 10 positions in the industry in Pan India. It may be 10th position also, okay, no problem, not mandatory 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, when I was continuously going to my rice mills, godowns and family business, I was observing that there's a lot of competition because any traditional business you have a lot of competition, lot of players, right? So I always had this question, what is that business I should do so that I can make more money, so that I can have a better life, I can do more social impact, I can create more employment and all those. Well, then I realized that the business that doesn't have much competition is the innovative businesses, which are called as startup. Startup is nothing but business plus innovation. If there is no business model, it's not a startup. If there's no revenue model, it's not a startup. It's just a hobby. And if it is making you spend money for pursuing it, it's a rich hobby. So there should be a business model. And innovation. If there's no innovation, it's a traditional business. It's not a startup. And I'm not telling this, it's wrong to do a traditional business. It's up to them. So I wanted to do that business which has the least competition possible, which are innovative businesses, which are startups. That's what made me go towards the startups field. So from around, I think more than 11 years, I am into the startup field, where I was interning as a startup, interning with startups and working for startups. Like first I worked for a company called Shiksha.com, which is education portal of Naukri.com group. Naukri.com everyone knows, right? India's #1 job portal. So, they have another company called Shiksha.com, which is aggregator of colleges and courses. So when I learned a lot when I worked for Shiksha.com. With that experience, when I applied for the campus placements to one company called Practo.com, I got the highest package selected. Actually, I didn't join that college for a job. So I joined a business school because I wanted to learn how to do business. So I formed a E-cell, entrepreneurship cell in my college, and out of 200 students in my batch, around 10 students joined the E-cell. So I thought that at the end of the college, we 10 students will start a startup, we'll do some business. But as each one of them were applying to campus placements and they were joining some of the other jobs, it was like only 2-3 people are left. So out of 200, only 10 people are there. And in the 10 people also, the 10 people joined the E-cell, and in the 10 also only 2-3 are left. And I decided that what businesses I wanted to at that time, we 3 are not enough. We wanted more people with diverse skills, complementary skill sets and all. So I decided, okay, let me do job in startups. So actually, in fact, I was not eligible also for applying to most of the companies which are nearby here, the Deloitte and TCS, Infosys, Wipro, whatever. So they all have cutoffs, right? Like out of 10 CGPA, you need to have 7 CGPA, 8 CGPA and all. I was 5 point someone. But I had more practical knowledge than the theory knowledge, that is for sure. So, but these startups, they hire on the basis of skill, not on the basis of percentage. So Practo, right now it might be big company, but at that time when I joined 2015, it was very small company. So all the other classmates, they got some 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs package. And myself and my friend who joined the startup, so we got the double the package than others. Because these startups, they wanted the best possible skilled people, not just the knowledgeable people. So, but many of my friends used to tell that who don't join that startup, have you heard of that name anytime? They won't pay you that much salary, whatever they are guaranteeing. I decided if they don't pay also, no problem. Luckily, I'm born in good family, rich, above middle class, at least if not rich. I will be with the founder. If they don't pay me also, I will be with the founder. And whenever the founder becomes successful, the startup becomes successful, they will take care of me. So when any company is not paying, people leave, right? So when people leave, the people who are just left with the founder for even in the bad times, the founder will take care of them. That is what I decided. So this company came to Practo.com, which is aggregator of college, hospitals, clinics, and all, doctors and all. I cracked this interview. How I cracked this? These two, I already had all the relevant experience possible because I interned with Shiksha.com. Both are different industries. In Shiksha.com is education portal, Practo is healthcare, healthcare, right? But here it's aggregator of colleges and courses. Here it is aggregator of the hospitals, clinics, doctors and all. But the concept is same. Industry is different. Concept is same. Both are aggregators. So whatever I learned in the Shiksha.com, I told in Practo.com interview that what we can do better than what Practo is doing now. Because what we did in Shiksha.com, which made our company to come from third position to first position, what we can do in this, what more we can do than what we are doing. When I told, that's told, I got selected. I asked this question actually when I was in training, in the training in Practo, to my trainer called Naval. I still remember his name. I'll never forget also. He was the one who took my interview. I asked, why did you hire me? Because I never thought I'll get a job. I never thought I'll do a job. Because I never thought I'll get a job. Because I never thought someone will give me a job. Because I never thought that an average student, why should someone hire me? And I decided that I will do business only, right? So he told me I didn't have a reason why I should not hire you. That's what inspires me a lot. This might be a small thing for others, but this matters me a lot. What makes me go ahead all the times, even in bad times, is my past. That whatever I have done, my success or whatever. So I worked for Practo. Then I worked for FinTech, Paytm Payments Bank. Not the wallet company. It's a payments bank is like ICICI, HDFC. It's a private bank. Then after I started my own startup. Everything was going fine actually, but someday, due to some legal reasons, the company that I was working for, Paytm Payments Bank, got banned by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So I decided someday I have to resign and do business anyway. So why don't it be this way? I decided, and that day I decided that my career should not be dependent on career of a company started by someone else. That means if I am working somewhere, that my career will depend on the company's performance also. But if my career should not be dependent on someone's company started by someone, means it should be my own company. Then I started my healthcare startup called Prevento. That idea I got when I was working for this company called Practo. So I knew what are the parameters that Practo considers while acquiring a startup. And I knew what Practo is lacking. So I built Prevento in such a way that my thought process was, exit strategy was to sell it off to Practo itself. So I just wanted it to be the headlines of a newspaper that Practo ex-employee sold his company to Practo. That's what was making me, this headline should come in newspaper. This was motivating me every day when I was working. Then everything was going fine. We got good traffic. We didn't have any competitors in that industry at that time. But for 1.5 years, we were exactly at the inflection point where the investors were ready to invest, where the customers were ready to pay, where my team was building up very better. But this invisible, I don't know if it is Chinese or not, this worm or creature or what to call it, I don't know. That bloody thing, Corona, COVID, for 1.5 years, there was no traffic on the website. There were no new app downloads because no one were going out, right? Everyone was staying here. So maybe it helped some industries like edtech or fintech or logistics. But for my business, it was the other way around. Then I started my at that time when I was running my own startup, I joined many communities where they were just running paid WhatsApp groups. I mean to say, I felt like where we should pay money and the startups will join and they create a WhatsApp group and they add you in it. But there was no relevant value addition to me. Then I decided, and all of them are renewal basis. Every year you need to pay. So in the first year only I paid. I joined many organizations by paying lakhs of rupees. Then I didn't do renewal and I started my own building communities. Because as a healthcare startup founder, networking with all other healthcare startups is more important to me than networking with startups in other industries. So I was the first one to run industry-specific startup communities in India. So I was successful in it because I built it for my sake of my betterment of my startup, healthcare startup group I built, and I was posting relevant content in it, and those members in that, they referred this group to many other people, and 20 members group became 250 members in less than 6 months, and it's all the founders, co-founders, incubation centers, acceleration centers, mentors, investors, all these industry-specific people of the healthcare. When I was running it, it was running so successfully that many people were thinking that I run many industry groups. Because all the groups people who used to run before, they are not industry specific, they were city specific or generic. But this industry specific was solving a burning problem actually. So many people used to ask, add me to fintech startup group, add me to a tech startup group, and like that, whichever industry they use. I used to ask, I don't know any fintech startup founders. If you can connect me with 10, I'll create a group. They used to connect, every fintech startup founder knows minimum 10 fintech startups, right? They used to send the contacts. I used to build communities. I was successful in that. And all of it was free of cost. But I didn't make any money. But the network I got there, the knowledge I got there about the startups is a lot. Then everything was fine. Then I uh, then they decided that I should do more. Actually, when I was doing my own startup, many people used to ask me, are you looking for funding? I would like to invest in your startup. I know you. But I decided that I didn't want funding from friends and family due to few reasons. So, but after my own startup, when I was building these communities, as people knew, I built communities, I startup communities. I know many startups, and people used to ask, कुछ अच्छा startups है तो बताओ. So most of the people who used to ask is from my circle or from my community, means my friends or relatives or neighbors, Gupta community, the banaya community. When they used to ask, kuch acha startup hai to batao. So I used to connect them with the startups in the same industry. Means they were doing the traditional business in very big level, market leaders with good market share. So whichever I used to ask, what is the problem you are facing in your business? They used to sell some XYZ problem. Then I used to find which is that startup who is solving that problem. I used to connect them. So here, maybe the HNI, high net worth individual, he might not be investing in the startup, but he might be becoming the customer. Actually, the problem of funding was solved. Any startup, they want the funding for doing business, right? Here, when they are getting business, they don't need funding. So that was also happening a lot of times. And it was win-win-win for all. So when these problems in these traditional businesses were solving, they were making more profits, more sales, more turnover, more brand value, more impact. They were contributing more to GDP. They were paying more taxes to government. They were creating more employment. That is the social impact that was happening. And the startup, maybe they were getting funding or not, but they were getting sometimes mentoring, the right mentor. The word right here is in capital letters, bold letters, underline. They were getting mentoring, or they were getting market access, or they were getting something else apart from just funding. So funding is a very small problem. It's for fundable startups, funding is not at all a problem. And I think 20% of the startups are fundable startups. So a proper startup, this 20% fundable startup, how to judge them is, what they ask first question is, what is the value addition that I'll get from your investor apart from just money? Because in money, any investment company will give. I want this valuation. Example, I want help in sales. I want help in operations. I want help in this, like that. So this is when this was happening. But as I was doing it casually for free of cost, for social impact or whatever, I didn't track how many deals happened, how much transaction happened, how much impact happened and all. So yeah, just. So that is when we started Guptaji Invests. So investors only from my community, startups can be from any community. So here we are not against any community because startups can be from any community, right? So in fact, money is going from my community to other community startups. So, and the founders, and when these startups become successful, the valuation increases, the percentage of equity of the investor also increases, and it's a win-win-win for all. So other communities, they are not, when they used to listen Guptaji Invest, in the beginning they used to take it negatively. They used to feel that we invest only in Gupta startups. There's nothing like that. But when we explained them about it, this is what it is actually, why we started is this way, why we named it is this way. When we tell the story, they were getting inspired. They were telling that, okay, we also want to start something like you. What name we should keep, or give us mentoring, how we should do it. I can bring investors, you bring the startups, we will do the funding. That is what they were telling. So, which will happen in the course of time. So, this is what I want to say. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you. This is my story.